The second channel of elimination is based on urination and filtration, which is our kidneys. And our kidneys are the two bean-shaped organs that reside on the lower back, and then right planted on top of them is our adrenal glands. And our adrenals are the battery pack of our whole body, of our energy production system. That's what allows us to secrete adrenaline, to get up and go. And those two organ pairs in particular work in synchronization with each other. They work congruently, so they have to both be in a high elevated state of health and efficiency. But the kidneys in particular are our main filtration system, meaning that your kidneys can filter up to 200 quarts of blood at any time, and they're filtering out all the metabolic waste products out of the blood system through the gallbladder and urinating it out of the body, right? And this is basically eliminating all the water-soluble toxins, a lot of the toxins that we find in our environment that we're breathing in, that we're touching, the plastics we're touching, the volatile organic compounds that are off-gassing off our furniture, off the paint in our walls in our house, and all the buildings we're going into, the whole charade of toxicity in our environment. It's all going through this filtration system. So we want to make sure that our circulation is in flow. This is becoming a common theme in these videos, is if we want to get into the flow, we have to make sure that our circulation is in flow, that we're not stagnant, that we're not inhibiting the flow of blood and lymph fluids in the body, right? And if someone has a degenerative kidney, there's some kind of issue with their kidney in particular, it could be a number of things, right? And there's the few ways of dealing with it that I want to share with you guys. One of the things to understand is that high blood sugar has been correlated as possibly the #1 cause for long-term kidney disease, specifically hypoglycemia. Even more leading into diabetic conditions where the insulin in our body, the hormone that grabs glucose, that grabs sugar, and transports it into the receptor site of our cells for sugar metabolism, is blocked up. This is usually because of things like cooked cholesterol, of plaque formations in the arterial walls of our arteries, rancid oils like hydrogenated or partially hydrogenated vegetable oils, soy oil, safflower oil. All the rancid fake oils contribute immensely to this. So once you get off the whole processed food reality and gravitate more into living foods reality and superfoods, then you eliminate that whole picture automatically. But let's say someone is coming from a degenerative kidney issue, then they have to start implementing certain foods and certain practices into their lifestyle. Obviously, increasing the quality and the quantity of water is going to be paramount for this whole picture, right? And adding salt into your water is going to help with the retention of water to your tissues, but not necessarily to the parts of your body that you don't want to hold water, like your belly, for example, right? We want that stuff filtering out. So mobility, physical mobility, moving your body, like we talked about in a previous video, is going to be really important for keeping the fluid transportation in motion. Then what kind of foods can we add in that are specific to the kidneys? The first thing I want to mention, there's 3 juices that I recommend above all for kidney function. The first one is cabbage juice. Whether that's purple cabbage, that's green cabbage, that's a really amazing therapy for kidney function and rejuvenating the kidneys. And cabbage can be kind of like a sedative if you do cabbage juice, which can be a good thing at night. If you have issues sleeping, you have insomnia issues, blood sugar issues maybe, that keep you kind of into the late hours that you don't necessarily want to be staying up for, drinking cabbage juice can be a really good sedative. Maybe combining that with like a kava root tincture or kava tea or something like that can be really good for calming the system and helping you get to sleep. And also that in of itself will help with the adrenal kidney combination. Beyond that, we're looking at watermelon juice. Watermelon juice is amazing for the kidneys, but watermelons with seeds. We don't want hybridized seedless watermelons. We don't want seedless anything really, because if we eat something that can't reproduce itself via viable seeds, then the doctrine of signatures kicks in, which is basically you are what you eat, basically. So if you eat foods that are infertile, that may end up making us infertile. And that's not good for any aspect of the body, let alone the kidneys, right? And then there was a third juice I was thinking of. It was strong on my mind. It's slipping my mind. Maybe it'll come back to me. But then also adding in a vast diversity of organic, wild if possible, berries. Berries probably are the #1 category of foods that anybody can include into their diet. They're low in their sugar content and they're higher in their mineral and phytochemical and nutrient content, and they have very unique, every single berry, whether it's blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, blackberries, goji berries, Marion berries, Schizandra berry, and the whole litany, each one of them has unique phytochemicals that are unique to that berry, and they all are very powerful for every function of the body, of course, including the kidneys. And then I want to mention one more aspect of kidney rejuvenation, which is spirulina. Spirulina contains a very unique compound called phycocyanin. And this is that very, like blue-green algae has, this is that blue pigment that's intrinsic to the algae category, but it's mostly concentrated in spirulina. And high-quality spirulina is going to have more of this phycocyanin. And this has been shown to be very effective for kidney repair and kidney function and kidney rejuvenation, right? And foods that are high in sulfur. So like onions and garlic are at the top of that list. And then MSM, methyl sulfonyl methane, which we will talk about in much more detail in a later video, is really powerful for breaking down kidney stone formations. That's when the excess of bad calcium is basically gets into our kidneys and creates that kidney stone formation, and we need to break that stuff down. Again, in later videos, we're going to go through a whole series of videos explaining calcification and how to deconstruct those calcium formations so we can have healthy, vibrant function of our tissues, of our mobility, of our joints, our ligaments, our skeletal structure, our bones, our pineal gland, our nervous system, and most importantly to this video, our kidneys.